All right, ladies and gentlemen, I was recently asked about how I stay motivated and how I defeat negative things and negative people and negative all that, right? Because in the world there really is a lot of negativity. If you look around, there are a lot of people that are very negative and complain. There are a lot of rude people, right? There are a lot of things that are really negative, right? But in reality, the deep down part of it all is that we have to ignore all that, right? Like when I make my videos, I don't have any of that in mind. I have none of that in mind. When I'm living my life, I deal with it because it's there, right? But I ignore it, right? Like it's important that you separate what you want to become with the negativity that you are facing, right? So I know I'm very positive. I'm always very positive, and I love being very positive, and that's my whole point of my existence, right? I like to be positive because I like to make sure I leave a good mark. I like to be friendly. I like to try to be very nice. So of course that's important to me. It's very very important to me. But we but seeing me being really positive is one thing. That's great. But life is not always like that, right? And we want our life to match how we feel when we're watching Melina and Marco perform, right? If our lives are exactly like what they are like when we're hearing Melina and Marco talk, when we're watching their videos, that was how life was like, life would be amazing for everyone, right? Now, I am going to say, now I have had a recent fan had asked me, and how I stay motivated. The one thing that really motivates me is seeing the negativity and saying, you know what, I deserve better. I deserve a lot better, you know. And I mean, the negativity is very small, right? Like it might be somebody that always complains, and you just have to recognize where the negativity is coming from, right? Like if the person is always a complainer, or you never you're used to that from that person, or they're just like that, or you just if you have a customer oriented job, realizing that your job is you're going to be dealing with negative customers, right? Like that's part of the job, right? Or just things like that, right? Recognizing where the negativity is coming from, and if it's coming from one source or a couple sources, then you're like, well, you know what? That means I can just ignore it. Motivation now that's a difficult one for sure. For me, it's not very difficult. As you can see, I'm always pumping out videos. But for a lot of people, motivation is a challenge. For me, I mean, I'm very focused. I'm very, very focused. But even me, I need to stay motivated. I need to do what I need to do, right? Um, so when you see my videos, you hear the motivational speeches, you hear the motivation that I give and that I bring, you hear all that, and deep down you're like, how on earth did Melina and Marco do it? Well, in order for you to become that way, you just have to live the way I do, and just see life as something you have to. Life is short. You want to enjoy it. You have to do your best. You have to strive for more. That kind of thing. Oh my gosh, that kind of thing. So you got to make sure you're doing your best. You got to make sure you're giving it your all, right? Like it's not and I mean, and another thing to recognize too, like life is really great. Not for everyone. Life is not always great for everyone, but if you are someone that lives a good life and all you're doing is just sitting there moping, you have everything you need. You have even if you have a YouTube channel and it's doing somewhat well, just be motivated and be happy that you have something like that going on, right? Like I live in Canada. I love the US as well. I love other parts of the world as well, but in those parts of the world, if you have enough, I mean, I'm not saying you need to have an abundance. I'm saying if you have enough, then you're good, right? Like you don't need any more, right? But if you want more, more is always good. I like more. I love more, right? We all love more. So if you want more, you strive for more and just focus on that, right? Like, and remember, being part of the crowd might be fun, might be getting you in some smaller circles, and of course you want to be part of the crowd, but if you aren't part of the crowd, it may not necessarily be a bad thing, right? Like, some people are always fitting in with people that are always drinking or always, and drinking is not a bad thing necessarily, but if you have a lot of it, too much all the time, it could be bad. But if you're always around the wrong people and you fit in with them, then maybe you're getting comfortable with them and you don't branch out to other people, you know. But my whole point is about that, where you know, if you feel like you don't fit in, maybe that's a good place to be, right? Maybe that means you're meant for more. Maybe that means you're meant for better things. Now it's always something for me to think like, you know, I'm very okay. So I'm trying to get a good angle here. I'm trying to really focus on what's important with motivation and all that, because a lot of people see me and they really don't know how I'm motivated to do as much as I do, and it's something I can't really explain, but I'm trying my best. All right, so I mean, for me to say, I just like for me like if I do like, you know, 100 videos in a week. Usually I do more than 100 in a week, but let's say I do 50 videos in a week. I'm not going to be too happy with that, you know. So for me, that's just my measurement. Um, that's my measurement for how happy I am with certain tasks I've done or how I've done. So like maybe 50 is not bad, but let's say I did 25 videos, and I try to do more than 25 videos at a time. Um, like in one sitting, I try to do more than 25, but I mean, like for me, like I know it seems crazy, and I know it seems kind of weird that somebody would do that many videos at once, and it's very success oriented kind of thing. But I just don't see myself doing less. You know, I've never been like that. So if you are someone that's struggling to find motivation, remember, even if you were somebody that never was motivated or you never did anything before, you can always pick up from a new beginning, right? Like it doesn't have to be that you're always stuck, you know, just doing mediocre things, you know. You could one day be someone great, just instantly, right? Like it's not necessarily something that you have to just stick to. You know, if you've always been someone that does maybe, you know, a little bit and you never did anything before and you want to be a bodybuilder, it's possible, right? Depending on, you have to make sure you can, like go to the doctor and make sure you can exercise that much. But let's say you wanted to start doing something and you wanted to do it in large volume and you wanted to do it a good quality of it, like a quantity and quality, and you maybe you want to lose weight, something like that, right? But maybe you want to find motivation to just to just be happy or something, you know. But I mean, to find motivation, it just takes doing the things first. You have to do the things, and then eventually you'll enjoy them, right? Like it's hard to explain. Like for me, like I'm very motivated, as you can tell, but I've always kind of been that way. I mean, there's been a couple years in my life where I wasn't like that, but for the most part, I've always been that way. But if you are someone that knows you have more abilities, knows you're capable of more, and you just feel like you're shortchanging yourself, and you have recently you feel like you're in a slump, you know, you really have to just focus on what's important, right? And as I was saying with the Canada and US thing, you know, if you live in Canada and United States and you have plenty, you know, you have enough, you know, why not make it better for yourself, you know? Especially now with the quarantine thing, right? Like we're all quarantined, we're all stuck at home. Why not make it so that when you aren't quarantined anymore, that your life is grand, you know? Work out more, do something crazy, do something fun, like, you know, and get into shape, do something creative, do something where you're making a ton of money. You know what I mean? Like it's time, right? Like you might have thought before you weren't gonna make it or you don't have anything going for you, but you know what? You really do, you know. So don't focus on. It's hard to. I mean, for me, I'm very motivated, you know, and I don't feel I've done a lot, you know. Even though I've done a lot, like you might be thinking, Marco Molina, crazy, lots of videos, tons of content, great content, amazing content. The way I see it for me is I feel I haven't accomplished nearly as much as I want to. All right, so if you are seeing me and thinking, no way, you must not think that. You've done so much. How could you think that? I'm just very kind of like always for the next thing. I'm always for the working hard. I'm always for doing something where I'm expanding my horizons. I'm always for, you know, making sure I'm not lazy or anything like that. I'm always for trying to impress. So when you see me do all this stuff, and you're probably thinking, okay, she's got to believe she's doing very, very well. Even I think part of it too is that I don't have the views to back me up yet. I'm not famous or anything by any means. And believe it or not, I'm not getting paid on YouTube, which you might think I am. I'm actually not, because you need a certain amount of watch hours in a year. So I'm not getting paid on YouTube. So you know, you might be thinking I've done so much. I look amazing. I'm so talented, but you know, I'm in terms of YouTuber anyway. I haven't accomplished anything yet. I have no revenue or nothing. So I mean, it's not like I'm. Yeah, I mean, if I had millions of subscribers, then yes, maybe I feel like I've done a lot. But even still, when you're a creative person and you have goals and you have ambitions and you want to really strive to reach those goals and ambitions, you almost feel like you almost feel like your creativity is unlimited, right? Like you have an unlimited amount of creativity. So with that creativity, you want to use it. Like Madonna, I'm sure Madonna feels like she wants to make an album every day. But of course, realistically, she's not able to, right? But someone like Madonna is so talented and so pretty and so good of a dancer. And so, like, we need people like that. Like, that nourishes us. That makes us feel really good. It gives us goals and things to look forward to. So, when you see someone like Madonna, she's probably thinking, I haven't even begun my career. Like, my career, I'm not sure what she thinks, but my career hasn't begun because I like to do a lot and I like to I mean, I have so many ideas. Like Madonna's probably got so many ideas that she hasn't used, and she's probably feeling like, I want to get it all done. Like once you're actually famous, you're thinking to yourself like, how come I haven't done this much, or I need to do more. But when you're not famous, you're just like, I need to get famous, right? But both categories, you're thinking you need to do more, you need to expand, you need to develop, you need to practice, you need to tune your skills. Or tune your skills to better quality and more quantity. So yes, so I mean, believe it or not, as much as I've done, I actually don't feel I've done much of anything. And I mean, a lot of you that have YouTube channels are probably thinking, you're probably pissed off. You're like, how could you say that? No, I'm not. I'm not trying to make anybody upset. I'm just trying to say that for me, I have so much. I have so much I want to do that this is just touching the surface of what I want to do. So so, that's the kind of thing that I mean. So, I mean, obviously, people that are watching are like, okay, you've done 14,000 videos and you don't feel you've done enough? Like, how about me? I've only done 100. Well, I mean, if you've done 100 and you're a millionaire, well, then I guess you shouldn't feel bad, obviously. You should feel really great. And I mean, I'm not trying to belittle anybody that does less or whatever. But for me, I'm separated from me. This is how I feel for me, all right? I want to do a ton of videos and do a lot, and that's just my goal for me. But I mean, if you do a lot of videos like me, then you understand how I'm feeling. If you don't, then maybe you're thinking that you're like, well, why is Melina talking like this? I'm only talking like this because I'm just that kind of person for myself, right? Like, and I don't judge people for. I'm never judgmental for people not doing enough. If somebody's not doing enough, I'm not going to be like, oh well, why didn't they do more videos, or why are they so lazy? I'm not like that. I'm not going to be like that. But I mean, okay. So anyway, to get back to the whole point of it all, finding motivation is kind of something that you have to just search for yourself, and you have to take the negativity and shoo it away, right? Like get rid of that negativity, right? And you have to do this on your own, all right? So it's something that you have to find a balance in your life that's like, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, right? Up here, right? And you want to get there and you want to do a very good job. So this is what you have to do. And now for the most part, there are a lot of people that do drugs or drink to try to combat things because they're shy or whatever, or they have anxiety. But that's totally the wrong way about it. I mean, if you like drinking and doing drugs and doing that kind of stuff, I'm not going to stop you, obviously. I'm not judgmental like that. And if it's not causing any problems, then that's fine. But, I mean, if it's the only way you function and you're doing a bunch of them, then obviously functioning is not the same for you and me, right? Like I don't need to do any. So for me, it's like I just really feel like, I mean, I don't feel anxiety. Like, you have to remember this too, right? Like, if you go out into the world and you're feeling anxious and you haven't even seen a person or you don't even know who's around, like, who are you anxious for? Why are you anxious? Like, and if you have a mental illness, maybe anxiety, like a mental block or something, that's one thing. But if you're just anxious because you're worried about who's around or you have no idea why you're anxious, like, in reality, you're thinking, what a waste of time. Like, you could be achieving goals, you could be doing things, you could be meeting people, right? So instead of being anxious, why not focus on, well, I mean, why am I anxious? You tell yourself, why are you anxious, right? But obviously, if it's a deep-rooted problem or you've got serious anxiety, I'm not going to belittle it at all. Anxiety is a very serious thing, but if you're bringing your own anxiety to yourself because you feel like you are anxious for whatever reason, and you feel like it's something that's bothering you, and it's something that you've had for a while, and it's self-created anxiety, that's what you have to say, like, why am I anxious? Like, really? Like, who makes me anxious, really? Like, if there's no one in your life that makes you anxious, then I think you have to reevaluate why you're anxious, right? Anyway, motivation is something you really have to look inside yourself to find. Um, and believe me, as much as you think I'm glamorous and as much as you think I'm incredible, gorgeous, talented, all that stuff, I mean, you guys are the same in my opinion, right? So don't think that, you see me and you're thinking, oh my God, like Melina and Marco, like they're it, like they're the bee's knees. No, you guys, you have to look at it this way. I try to do as many videos as I can so that you guys can watch me and feel as good as how I look, okay? So, um, now, and as good as I feel, right? Because I feel good too. But I want you guys to take all the stuff that you're feeling about yourself and say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be self-conscious. Maybe I should be focused on be feeling gorgeous because Marco and Melina tell me to, and you have to feel it in yourself too. Like, and you have to feel like, and remember, I'm not judgmental. So even if you're not the most gorgeous person or you're not the most stunning person, I'm not going to be judgmental. So, I mean, for me to say to you that you are not like me would be rude, right? So I'm not like that. I don't say that. I never would. So remember, if you are someone that's self-conscious or struggling with motivation because of what you look like or who you are, remember that can all change. Being happy, being not insecure, being motivated, doing things you love, and not really being uncomfortable while doing them in a crowd or whatever, is what my goal is for you guys. All right, my goal is to make you feel like you can do anything you want and you're capable of reaching any goal you'd like. That's my goal for you guys. All right. Now, I mean, you're seeing me and you're thinking, okay, here's a model telling me to feel like how good she looks and how good she feels. Why Marco, really? But how good they look and feel, right? Yes, it's true because if you feel like a real model or you feel like somebody that's really good looking, then you are not going to be worried about how you come across. You are not going to be worried about whether you can accomplish something. You are not going to be worried about what you look like even because you feel like a model, right? So it's important to recognize um, that you are someone that's worth more than you think, right? And seriously, there are some people out there. Like I know I'm a model. I know I'm very good looking. I feel good looking all the time. I mean, there are days where I'm feeling a little less attractive, but I mean, pretty much for the most part, I feel gorgeous. So if you're somebody, and you might even be the same look as me, but maybe you don't feel as good looking as me. Some young people are insecure for no reason. Sometimes they look really really good, but they're insecure. Or some older people may be feeling like they've not accomplished a lot and they feel insecure. Or people have made like a lot of people will try to make you feel like you're worthless and worth nothing, and have nothing and do nothing. A lot of people are like that, right? No, not a lot of people, but I'm just saying there's some people that are like that. So when you're going out into the world, you might be really, really good. You might be like the most amazing person ever, but somebody else might be like, okay, this person looks like they're great. I don't feel comfortable. I'm gonna make them feel small. A lot of people are like that, not a lot, but you know what I mean. Like people are like that. So if you are feeling small because of what people are telling you or what people are saying or whatever, then it's totally not real, right? Like that's just how those people need to feel better about themselves. Like I've had people criticize me that are like that. I had one guy criticize me so much, and I mean I was okay with it because I'm like, well, whatever. I'm gorgeous. I'm a model, and I do YouTube and I do all that. But he was like so critical, and now I think he's dying of a disease, and I'm like, well, maybe that's why he was critical. But I was never rude to him, and I was like, well, whatever. But if you're dealing with criticism from someone, and that they're eventually like that, right? Then you wouldn't be taking the criticism very seriously, right? If you knew that was how they were gonna be, right? So I mean, you have to put it in stride, right? Like remember, if somebody's treating you that way, maybe the issue's with them and not you, right? So maybe they know they're gonna have some major serious problem later, or maybe they know they're gonna be like they're gonna be in a worse position than they already are. Then maybe they make fun of people, but really, when you see them in that, you don't need to see them in that position to know that that's not right. If you feel good and you love life and you're happy, life is short. Live it to the fullest, right? Like live it to the fullest. You don't want to be stuck in life feeling like you never accomplished anything. You don't want to have any regrets, right? So anyway, thank you so much for being here. All right, love performing for you guys. What do you think of the hair, the dress, the makeup? Thank you guys for watching. All right, bye.